Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to D-School Africa, the virtual version. As mentioned, Marissa and Tiego here, who are based at D-School Africa at the University of Cape Town. We do also have a third lead on this, who is Riam from AUC, who is not in attendance currently. And we're excited to have different universities represented on this call. We're just going to take you through a brief introduction about what this program for DT in Africa is about, as well as what the expectation for the program is, as mentioned by Tiego. So we have a few different programs running at D-School Africa. Our specific student-led programs include Foundations Program, which is a 9-week face-to-face program. We've got Design Thinking Week, which is a 4-day face-to-face program, as well as DT in Africa, which is our virtual online program, which is we're going to be speaking about today, as well as a Design Thinking Dash, which is really a fast-paced introduction to design thinking. I do hear some people's mics, so if you can please keep it on silent until we have the Q&A time. Otherwise, our moderator can also just put them on mute. So our program we're going to focus on is really looking at DT in Africa. I know some of you would have received some email communications or saw our program online or gotten this invite to the info session. Just to inform you that we're really going to be speaking about what the session is about. It's not an onboarding, it's not the first day, and it does not mean that you have been accepted into the program. We just wanted to inform you about the ways of working, the process within the program, and also just to set the criteria. So as part of the program, it is held virtually. It's a 6-day commitment, and the 6 days include a separate day, which we will do as a compulsory onboarding session. We'll speak a little bit more about how that works as we go through. But in terms of the commitment, we really expect the participants to be able to commit to all 6 days for the full duration of the program. And yeah, it's specifically looking at students. There's a specific age range that we're looking, as well as we're looking at multidisciplinary teams. So you'll see that as we get acceptance information, as we get institutional knowledge about where you're from, what program you are currently enrolled in, we like to mix up the teams. So it's not specific to a certain faculty or discipline, because part of the program is working with transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary teams. So a requirement is that because it's online and virtual, you would need a stable internet connection and making sure that you have access to an internet as the program runs for 6 hours across the 6 days. And that would require you to be on a desktop device or a laptop, because a lot of the work happens online in collaborative spaces like Zoom or Miro, which is an interactive whiteboard, as well as sharing some of our resource across possibly MS Teams as a communication channel or a shared Google Drive. So it would mean that you would need to have the stable internet connection, a device like a desktop or a laptop to connect to, and as well as a webcam so that we can see and interact with your team members. So as part of our DT in Africa program, it's really exciting because we get to connect 6 universities across Africa, including, as we mentioned, the Hasso Plattner D-School Africa, as well as Ashesi University in Ghana, KNUST in Ghana, American University in Cairo, that's in Egypt. As we mentioned, our other program lead Riam is based at the University of Nairobi in Kenya, as well as the University of Dar Salaam in Tanzania. So we are looking at enrolling all the universities across different students in different disciplines. And so this is really the shared learning experience, the peer learning, as well as the cross-cultural learning experience that design thinking in Africa provides. Welcome to those who are still joining. You're welcome to drop in the chat your name, your institution, and where in Africa or the world you are zooming in from. So as part of D-School Africa, we really wanted to connect, like we mentioned, the different universities, but the program is looking at how do we engage those, not only the disciplines, but the cultural elements, and how do we tackle real world challenges. So as part of our program, we work with a relevant project partner, and our project partner is tackling a real world problem. We are excited to let you know as soon as we give you your acceptance who that project partner would be. And the project partner really comes with a challenge that they are trying to solve in the real world. And the value is that you not only get to connect with all these 6 universities with a multidisciplinary team, but you also get to work with a project partner that's doing great things across Africa. So as mentioned, the 6 days run across 2 weeks in July, and the Central African time is between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So it would differ depending on your time zone, but the CAT is from 10 until 4 from the 1st of July, which is the first day, and then it ends on the 11th of July. So our program, as mentioned, really has a Trans-African challenge. So we are participating in a real-world challenge with an amazing global partner that's addressing a challenge in their world. And they would provide us insight into that challenge, provide us some interview and stakeholder pool that we can go and connect with. The program really offers advancement in developing your soft and your hard skills, including critical thinking, so that we can not only tackle this challenge, but we can also learn from each other and use our design thinking mindsets and principles to engage with advancing our thinking, our innovation, and our problem-solving skills. Again, as mentioned, not only with the 6 universities, but the diverse collaboration also includes working with a project partner, different university students and program coordinators, as well as our project partner stakeholders and our interview pool, where we get to learn from the stakeholders experiencing, working towards solving the challenge, as well as tackling the real world challenges within their unique contexts. The capabilities we're really wanting to build, as mentioned previously, yes, you're going to get that cross-cultural, cross-discipline, learning experience, critical thinking experience. But in design thinking, some things that we really focus on are also the development of the 4 C's. So as we mentioned, critical thinking, another one is creativity, and we like to speak about unlocking your creative confidence, as well as communication. As mentioned, we're having different platforms of how to communicate virtually, online, collaboratively, as well as that collaboration to really solve problems, get to innovation, and also collaborate with different stakeholders. So we not only sharing knowledge and learning from each other, we also recognizing that we have different levels of knowledge. And as mentioned, the cross-cultural experience really helps us to understand problems from different perspectives, different lived experiences. So we really want to use that to learn how to have knowledge cultivated and how to tap into different sources of knowledge for different problem-solving experiences. We also want to learn how, as we mentioned, the real-world project partner is working on a real-world challenge, but how do we also adapt to change, not only understanding the change in the user's experience, but also the project partner's context that they're working in, and how do we navigate collaborating to find these challenges, to understand these challenges, to ideate and how to actually navigate the human-centered element with regards to changing contexts, changing worlds, changing problems, and how do we keep the human at the center of this innovation and change. But as mentioned, we also like to look at how do we take ownership. And so that was part of initiating this info session, is so that you have the informed consent about what this process looks like, some of the tools that you'll be exposed to, some of the mindsets you'll be accessing and learning about, but also the ownership in the program is really, it's an active process. It requires engagement, it requires participation, not only from a data and a desktop. This is what we need to do. You cannot just sit passively in the program and just expect to receive passive information. You actually have to interrogate, explore, participate, and engage with the learning program, with the project partner, with the users, with the tools, with your teammates. And so it's really an active process. And that's what we wanted to convey through this info session. Some of the key benefits of our DT in Africa, as mentioned, is the 4 C's. It's really going to create a future fit skill set, as mentioned, both soft and hard skills as you prepare for the ways of working and in an evolving working world. The multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary teamwork and collaboration. And again, igniting your potential through creative confidence, not only through the design thinking tools and mindset, but also just tackling challenges and creative problem solving. So the program is open to students at the participating universities. And then, as mentioned, the criteria is very specific. You can check our website as well for those specific criteria. And the program coordinator will contact you to let you know if you've been accepted into the program based on these specific eligibility criteria. And then the student needs to be in the final year of undergrad or postgrad, or has recently graduated in 2023. And then again, mentioning the age criteria, and that's also just to account for our specific collaboration with regards to the youth range that we are working on when it comes to DT in Africa across our universities. So ways of working is going to include possibly the 3 Ps. I'm just going to admit some people. So we're just speaking about the program, the criteria, and there's ways of working that we're going to understand how to work with people, how to work in diverse teams, different lived experiences, different cultures, different languages, different time zones. And the 3 Ps of design thinking will really be explored, explained, and really experienced through this DT in Africa learning journey. The process, again, we're going to follow a design thinking process, which includes a 6-step phased process. And then we're going to be applying design-led mindsets to understand how do we understand this problem, how do we observe this problem, how do we create a point of view, how do we really start solving the problem and innovating through the creative problem solving. The place it will be happening is the virtual environment through different digital collaboration platforms, like I mentioned, Zoom and Miro, some communication channels, and some storage and document sharing channels as well. This is a snippet of how it really looks like online. You can see the Rana, myself, and Riam in the little corners were embodying the virtual experience fully. But this is really how a shared experience of online collaboration. This is a team presenting their solution, their idea, as well as their feedback that they received from testing. And you'll see in the